and welcome to yet another Q&A Thursday, and it's a good one, man. I've got Levi Gates to my right.
Hey, Dane, what's going on?
Hey, I'm Dane Hennon, in dead center for myself, I guess, and whatever. And to my left, I've got Diamond Protek between Tyler and Matt, who you may recognize, but just in case you don't, that's Tyler Cucci, this is Matt Ward, and welcome to the show, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so obviously we answer detailing questions around here, but your particular area of expertise, if you'd like to give kind of a brief bio for people who are maybe new and aren't familiar with Diamond Protek.
Yeah, so Diamond Protek is a new state-of-the-art coating for your vehicle. We launched last year. We are a new composite coating that actually incorporates diamonds into the coating itself. So,
Okay.
We tested it on some other vehicles before that went into certain places and showed very good characteristics.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
No, so it's no surprise, right? I mean, we've talked about it a lot. I know we've talked about it with you guys a lot before too. So our parent company, NG&T, developed the nano diamond coating for satellites, aerospace. So protecting the motherboards and the circuitry work on satellites, and rather than being an automotive coating and trying to figure out, can we make something for wheels, can we make something for glass, we designed a coating originally almost a decade now ago for aerospace, and then brought it back into the automotive industry. There's a lot more cars that can be coated every year than satellites. So
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and that's a pretty extreme environment to be going up in, so
Yes.
Diamond Protek is no joke. That stuff's serious. So,
Correct.
yeah, no, that's a great little introduction, and for those of you watching, as always, make sure you click like on this video. Helps us out. But apart from that, any housekeeping?
I was going to say, first I was going to say that the boys actually need to give a bio about themselves.
Well,
individually,
yes, and then there's
so
that
that the
too.
guys at home, the gang
Yeah.
at home can understand who they're actually talking to, because
Of
yes,
course.
they are Diamond Protek. Hopefully you guys learned some about that maybe you didn't hear from me or Anthony, but Matt, Tyler, bios, yourselves.
Starting with Tyler.
Yeah, so I am the sales director for the Americas with Diamond Protek. Prior to that, I've been a manufacturer rep for the last half a decade, working mostly with new car dealerships, used car lots, professional detail shops, very frequently working with high-volume facilities, and then every now and then getting that opportunity to hang out with someone that really deep dives in and puts the detail in detailing.
There you go.
Prior to that, I worked out of a route truck covering New England, and also had my own detail shop once upon a time too.
Nice.
There you go.
So I'm Matt Ward. I am from Boise, Idaho. I have been detailing for about 15 years now. So I have worked with Levi in the past. We also, I've managed multiple shops here in the Valley. I am an ambassador for Diamond Protek. I also try to oversee the professional line of products for Diamond Protek. And then I also still do detailing here in the Valley.
There you go.
Excellent.
And most people know him as the real master of shine.
Yeah, well,
He always made me look good.
he made his stuff look good, so.
No,
So,
I always introduced Matt as my right arm for a number of years for good reason, because he was that good.
yeah.
You just count on him all the time.
So all that is to say, we have some wonderful experts here at the table who can definitely help answer your questions, to which I ask you, please, ask detailing questions. I know we have fun here. We go all over the place, but if you got burning questions, even if you thought, that's kind of dumb, I don't want to ask that, feel free. You can frame it in a way so you don't feel dumb. There are no dumb questions. Just ask.
Yeah, and so back to housekeeping. You guys are probably wondering where Anthony is. He had to prepare his body because there is a car show this weekend, another one, but this one's Honda specific. Now, those of you that know that he loves his old Hondas, and he is a fan of those Hondas, he also happens to be All Day Anthony's photographer.
Whoa.
And All Day, this is going to be a big show for All Day Anthony. And so our Anthony is trying to get not only his personal cars ready for the show, but then he's got to go actually hang out and spend time following the real All Day Anthony around.
Okay.
And I think he's got to drive his cars over there too.
Oh.
It's kind of weird because they both kind of look the same. But anyway, it's like a big deal for him. And so he said, I need to prepare my body. He's going to shave his whole body. I think is what he said. He said those words. I remember him saying that.
You're going to coat himself afterwards?
And then
or
he
what?
was going to lotion up.
Oh.
Get good and lotioned up. And then he was going to start working on the cars to make sure. I don't know what kind of work he was going to be doing or why he necessitated the removal of body hair and lotioning. But hey, to each their own, right? That's what happens.
Okay.
Then an actual housekeeping for the company. We are still getting through all of the Father's Day orders. So thank you guys again for purchasing and popping in during that sale and taking care of getting all those products and getting that stuff in. So our packaging crew thanks you guys for your patience. And then next week, if you're not signed up for the newsletter, please be ready. We're going to be getting ready to launch the newest and next holiday special. So if you're not signed up, you need to do that because we're going to be doing the big 4th of July sale. And there's going to be some goodies in there that you're not going to want to miss. So we're just going to give you that much. And then, you ready to do some
let's get those
A's
comments
for the Q's
up on the screen here. Let's get this thing started, guys. Okay, so got the blank slate. I'm going to pop in Rob here. Let's start off with Rob.
Love the new Obsessed Garage exclusive gray FTW towel. Awesome, Rob.
Found that one.
That's pretty rad. I'm glad you got to see that one.
Yeah.
Rocky Iverson saying, morning, gentlemen from Hawaii. So how long do I need to let Dr. Color Chip cure before I can coat it? I usually like to wait a day just because I want that stuff to set up because depending on the coating that you're going to use or the prep solve that you're going to be using on the body, there's a good chance that it can wipe it right off. So I always want it to be able to build up and at least hold. That way you've got that. Matt, did you ever run into any of that, Tyler?
Yeah, you'll want to let it sit for a little while to let it off gas. You don't want any of those prep products that you're going to put on there to strip any of that you just took the time to fill in. So
Yeah.
What's really cool, so at STC we got to be next to Tony, and then and I asked him a little bit about that, and I'm still I fall on that same boat that you guys are. I'd prefer to wait a day.
Yeah.
He was a lot more confident with it, but then not tomorrow. Today's still Thursday. Saturday,
Yep.
we're going to be doing a training class. Morning, Dr. Color Chip, and afternoon us.
At Budco in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a training class happening in Salt Lake at Budco. So those of you in the area,
Take note.
head on down.
Get out there.
Dino Grovic saying, let's get this party going. What's up, Dino? Saying, what's up, guys? Happy Friday Eve. Just got done polishing my Mitsu Colt. Today was really hot. Paint soft and swelled up. Now I have holograms to polish off on Saturday.
Hey, it keeps you busy, right, Dino?
Sorry, man. Brian saying, hey, guys, I heard a few people say they drive their car after a rinse to get most of the water off and then they dry with a towel. Is this safe? Dust, etc. So that's more of a joke. Like we jokingly say the best way to dry a car is just drive it really fast and get the water off.
You know how fast you have to drive before that is an effective method.
That is an actual joke, but the reality is it comes from the fact that most car washes, when you come out, the blowers hit it, you're going to just drive and the rest of that water is going to come off. But in reality, the safest way, have a drying aid, have a towel.
Just
dry the surface. Even if you run it through a car wash, hop out, get a drying aid, and dry it off. Because not only that, but you're going to see if the car wash even did a good job washing your car.
True.
And nowadays, I don't know if you've gone through a car wash recently, but the ones here in Idaho, they don't even rinse them off. There's no pre-rinse anymore. They don't even pressure wash them anymore. They just send them through. And I was talking to one of the car wash
or something.
No, it is. I was asking one of the car wash guys down the street here at the car wash that I started at a long time ago.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you guys, like they had just gone through a full, what is it?
Like a
renovation. And I said, dude, now that you guys put in the new wash, why aren't you pre-spraying and just pulling the pressure washer out and at least getting the car wet before it goes through all the chemicals? And he's like, they don't want us doing that anymore. And I said, really? What if I tip? And he's like, no, they don't want us. Like they pulled guns out of most of them. They keep them there for mud.
Huh.
Just mud.
Just to knock mud off of the cars because they've realized that the mud, if there's too much mud on it, it catches in the brushes and it damages the next line of cars behind it.
That's
so they're like,
kind of expensive.
That's really the only time, but everything else we just run it through because people don't get out of their cars to check the wash. And he says it's cheaper for us to just run it through a second or third time
if
than to
someone does
take the
check.
5 minutes to rinse every car off with a pressure washer.
So that's using the same logic that like warranties and rebate programs use, where they're like, how often is somebody actually going to follow up on the fine print here and follow through that? Chances are they won't.
Yeah.
But that's
It's
every
there,
car
But
wash.
that's like the business logic is, so I'll just take the hit of the people who are smart enough to figure out the difference and will come asking. But
But
otherwise,
it's so easy because they'll literally, I've gone
Nobody
through, I've
knows.
come out, looked at my truck and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still like filthy. Come back around and go, hey, can you guys pre-spray this thing? And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. And they'll just hit the button again. No, they don't ever pull out the gun or anything. And I go, well, all right.
I guess
But
it
it
just
is. It
seems-
makes sense. When you're washing those cars, 25 cents a car, where you're
Sure.
paying an employee at $15 an hour, 5
Right.
minutes to
I mean,
wash it.
they're standing there anyway. But if the
You're
car's
doing 300
usually they would
cars
do
a
the
day?
spray when the car's already starting to move. That was usually, so you're not really any lost time there. And the amount of water you're using, I can't imagine it adds such an expense compared to the water you're already using anyway.
Right.
What's the difference? Like
Yeah.
that just seems like, I don't know. That seems
It's-
like a really
But it makes sense.
minimal
Cheap way to
benefit.
do it.
That's like
Yeah.
super cheap.
No, but it is. But if you think about it, you're washing 300 cars a day, and you can cut that 5 minutes of every car washing, and you lower the amount of
You make
labor
like $50
technically.
more, I guess.
No, but if
maybe.
you think over the long run, you save quite a bit,
Sure.
and it's just all right. If nobody notices, okay, they're fine.
Well, yeah, no. In
If
the
they come
ultimate-
back, we'll just wash it again.
in the ultimate corner cutting methods, I can see that. It seems silly to me.
It does. But that's why, again, I say
What are you gonna say, Tyler?
get a
No,
towel and
it's-
get a drying aid.
I could see trying to get away with it like in the summer and in the fall maybe, but man, you like
the
in
winter?
the winter time, you could never get, at least up in Massachusetts where I live, like if you're going through the car wash, it's to get the salt off
Right,
your car.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. that's
Right.
like a
Everyone's like,
whole
yeah, I'll pay the extra $2
expectation.
for undercarriage. Like I'm actually only paying for the undercarriage.
That's really
like, that's
all I
the-
care about. Yeah,
For real, yeah. No, that's
it's
a
pretty crazy.
great
So,
point.
and then
Franco.
Franco saying, Dino, did you go for a drive to get most of the water off? And then Kimberly,
Hey, Kim.
greetings. Construction season taking a toll on the Acura. Note to self, next time don't be cheap. Opt for coating and PPF on the full front clip. Boy. But my engine bay is somewhat clean. We saw those pictures,
Yeah,
Kimberly.
you emailed
Thank
us.
you for emailing those to us and telling us that you've been working on your motor. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Dan saying, good afternoon and a word up from hot, summery Minnesota. Happy Friday, EFTRC Greg. Hope it's been a great week. Thank you, Dan.
It has.
Then Barry DeHart, who was at the Long Island open house, said, any suggestions on how to pick up more ceramic coating jobs? I am in the middle to low income area. Thank you.
Well, we've got some coding, folks here. We've got you. I mean, I'd like to hear everybody's input on this one.
For a low income area, I mean, you're gonna want to have your car coated, obviously, to show the looks and the effects to your clients. But sometimes in a lower income area, maybe you're not needing to push those 5-10 year lifetime ceramics. Your 18 months, 3-year, lower term ceramics are more cost effective, and honestly, a lot of your clients will get a better result out of that they'll
Sure.
see within those first year or two.
Yeah.
No, that's an excellent point. Anything you want to add, Tyler?
Yeah, so we always, whenever we talk about coatings, we always really fixate on those paint coatings, and you can very quickly pick up some fast dollars by offering like glass coatings, wheel coatings, interior coatings. So, one of the big things we're doing this week while we're here is working on getting some videos for our installers. And the glass coating and body, they're quick, they're easy, they're kind of, body's 18-month, almost 2-year coating really. But those are your, let's get the car in, let's do a maintenance, let's give you a product that's actually going to last the whole year. I mean, back when I was a detailer, you're trying to tell people, I'll see you in 12 weeks, which nobody ever came back every 12 weeks. You were lucky to get them every twice a year, every 6 months. So now, you're lucky to get them once a year. So why not go and pursue that body coating, a nice entry-level coating. If someone's not happy with what's been sealed, it is capable of being polished off, where you get into that 120 or that 60 with us. It's just not coming off,
One thing I was thinking, Barry, like they're saying, glass coatings. Add a glass coatings, you can do $100
Yeah.
on coating glass and add it to any of your other detail jobs. Take a video. Take it with your phone, put it on your Facebook page, put it on your Instagram, put it on your website, and just say, hey, for $100, this is what your glass can do. And when you get into the rain, the winter, any of that kind of stuff, it makes a huge difference having a coated versus an uncoated windshield. And that alone, most people go, oh, crap, yeah, I want that.
Some of the
They'll do that.
storms we drove through when we were over in New York and all that, I can see the benefits immediately. If we had that on the car, it would have saved us.
Or Barry, rent
lot
a
of
car.
headache. And Barry, yeah, no.
Just go rent a car and
just
put that
thinking
coating on there, because I guarantee you that front windshield on that rental car is not going to be coated.
No, yeah.
And you could take it
50-50.
you could rent it for a day, take it to your shop, do half the windshield, and then just spray it with the hose.
Like, here's what you're at right now. Here's
the
what you
amount
could
to
be
just
doing.
rent that car for the day. It doesn't have to be anything. You can go rent a $25 a day car
Oh yeah.
and just use it just to make that video.
It's just the glass.
Just
That's
the
all
post.
that's important. Yeah.
And you can pick up that. The other one, your interior coatings. Got the interior and leather. That's another thing most people don't even think about. We focus too hard on getting these coatings on the outside, but getting coatings on the inside to protect. You got kids, you got leather. Let's put leather coating on there. If you got vinyl or plastics on the outside or on the interior, let's get those done up, because it's just going to make it much easier, and it's still an economical coating.
They're not labor
Price.
intensive too,
Right.
So
Right, yeah.
everything I kind of hit on there is not labor intensive. So if you're in that low to medium income area, you're not asking someone to come up with a large ticket item. You're not telling someone, hey, yeah, it's another $1,800 for me to do this job the right way. It's $79.99 for just the windshield, or $129 for all of the glass.
Yeah.
Whatever package you come up with.
Yeah, or hey, it's an extra $100, or whatever for your leather to do your
Yeah.
seats. I always sold it that I was coating the inside of my car to protect my sanity from the children. That was really it. It's like, I don't have to worry that there's ice cream on the leather because I coated it. I don't have to worry that the kids have stained the seats or they've damaged the tweed inserts in the leather because I coated those fabrics.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, is if you can get to a point where you can start showing people that and making those videos to show how easy it is to wipe up or do that kind of stuff, people will do it. The other thing that I was going to say, one that he can do back east, winter changeovers for tires. People are putting on their snow tires. If you start running a special where you're like, hey, if you get your snow tires put on, and maybe they have them on snow wheels, bring me your summer wheels and let me decon, wash them, do a special like that, and then just coat the wheels. They're already off the car.
It's way easier at that point.
Super easy to do. Help them take care of the cars and keep the wheels looking better longer. That's another one.
One thing I also wanted to point out, just because he specifically mentions middle low income area, just thinking sociologically, the people oftentimes who have these cars, I mean, granted, everybody's different, but on a general scale, people are keeping the cars longer. They're not rotating through cars as quickly. So that's something you can use to your benefit when you're talking about coatings, talking about preserving what's there, because, yeah, you got to keep it nice for longer, chances are. So even if they have to come back, 2 years later, get a new coating or something like that, that's fine. They're already familiar with you. They trust you. And assuming everything was kept up at that point, it's just one of those things you look at where, as you run to some other places, people are rotating a car every 6 months or in something new.
Like Dane.
So, so I'm getting some mileage out of my car. Actually, I think when I drive back from the airport this week, my truck will be kissing 200,000 miles. Right, 2014, right there. But that interior's been protected so many times, right? And we have 4 kids, deck hockey, basketball, all these crazy sports, ice cream, right? Like I'm an ice cream junkie. And it is so much easier to take the time to coat your interior, no matter what the surface is, than try to tell your kids they can't have ice cream in the back of the car, right?
Yeah.
Like every parent thinks they're going to do it, right? But when you sit there and realize, hey, I'm going to keep a car longer and longer, it's just worth that extra, like I said, $79, $100, whatever it may be, to get your surfaces protected, knowing that I think all interior coatings last 12 months. I think from every brand out there, So it's
the insurance is cheaper than the repair.
Yes,
So.
It's like an oil change.
Yeah.
It's that preventative maintenance. You're keeping it clean, keeping it protected. It's going to last you longer, be easier to clean further down the road.
Unless you got like an 80s Toyota with the 22 RE and you're running it without oil for like 10 years in a row, anything else blows up. So just take care.
But Barry, try and think outside of the box with that kind of stuff, and just think about how you can maybe create and build packages based on weather and things like that. So Alex saying, "Happy Friday Eve, family. Hope everyone's doing fantastic." Thank you, Alex. Good to hear from you, brother. Hans closing saying, "Hello, Teal RIC."
Yes.
And then Franco saying, "Alex Dua." And Dan Pfeiffer, "You take a long road trip and the front of your vehicle is covered in bug guts and gets baked on for several days before you can clean it. What would you pre-treat with before a standard wash?" Dan, that's what they make a lot of bug removers nowadays. You can use plenty of bug removers. I really like using Forced as a pre-treater and using either our Jersey bug scrubber, or even back in the day, Matt and I used Power Clean a ton to dissolve and break down those bugs.
Goes a long way.
Before you do a standard wash, just any pre-cleaner or citrus degreaser, any of that kind of stuff. And then specific bug removers like Bug Off and the bug remover from G-Technic and stuff. You can use those as well. I just make sure you're not doing it in direct sunlight with those bug removers, because they are very strong and don't like heat.
Anything you guys would like to add? Well, pretty much that.
Dedicated bug removers is my go-to, and
There you go.
that's if you just have a wax on there, you're gonna have to re-wax, but most of your coatings are gonna be able to handle it. Most of your
Yeah, the bug remover, let it dwell for a minute. Just make sure the paint is nice and cool.
dwell
Dwell
key
time.
thing. So many people just spray it on and they're like,
Direct sunlight.
It didn't
it's
work.
Like 90 degrees.
let it dwell.
Let it eat. That's what it's got to do.
Yeah.
Dino Gravik saying, Franco, I can't do that because in Austria the water is horrible. Even when I go to a self-serve car wash and rinse a car with spot-free water, it leaves a few spots.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Han saying, did Tony become a mutant with a laser eye? I thought Dane had some surgery and not Tony.
I was just
Very
doing a little
funny.
Terminator homage.
Yeah.
I saw him holding the two heat guns, and I was like, all right.
And then Ron saying, hello, hello, hello from marvelous Marlborough, Massachusetts.
Hey, hey.
Ron Ayotte, what's up, buddy? Thank you again for coming out to the Detailed Image event at Saratoga
thank you.
Springs. And then he's saying, yo, Tyler. And then Kirby Thompson saying, what time? Well, okay, time to come inside and listen to the TRC crew and the DPT guests, Tyler and Matt. What's
Good
up,
guess
buddy?
today.
Then Glenn Dennis. Good afternoon, gents. What's up, Glenn?
Good
Again,
afternoon
good
to
to
you.
see you. Thank you for coming to Detailer's Domain.
Yeah.
And then Hans, we got wardened in the housey and some diamonds.
Maybe a little bit of a auto
There you go.
correct issue there. All right.
And then Franco, Dino, well, could you shouldn't even do the water was good and was hot that the paint popped out. There you go.
Yeah.
Super Auto saying, what's up,
Super Auto.
TRC and DP? Happy Thursday. What's up, man?
Hey.
Rafael Rocha, what's up, TRC fam? Happy Friday Eve, saying hello from all the way from Arizona. What's up, man?
Well, welcome.
Yo Hurl saying yo, and Bearded Hunter
Classic.
saying, what's up, happy birthday.
Hey,
They're
Bearded.
saying happy Thursday. And then Franco saying, TBH, what's up? And
All right, everybody just
TBH
saying hey.
hello,
So
hello,
that's
hello,
our
hello to everybody.
Page 2. Man, more hellos.
Belinsky saying,
Joey,
hello, friends.
welcome.
Happy Thursday. What's up, Joey?
Reacher-sized gentleman.
Lakes County Detailer saying hello from
Oh,
Minnesota's
welcome.
Lakes County. What's up,
Holy
dude?
moly.
Dino, back to saying 38 degrees Celsius, but my garage is under a metal roof, so the garage is about 42 degrees. That is hot.
Oh.
Then Franco, number 1, Diamond Body 36, applied on my Escape per instructions to the letter. I have a dead spot on the fender. I fixed the dead spots on my doors with APC, water spot remover, and a proper foam wash. But you still have a dead spot on the fender. And then he says, did the same process on the fender, but still dead. Coating is only 6 months old.
For that, I would honestly try to recoat that spot on the fender. You
Yeah.
could have missed that spot, and you're just seeing a dead spot.
Yeah,
If the door came back with that
combo.
rejuvenation combo, then you should be seeing the same on that.
Yeah. And it could be as simple as just like not enough product or too much product in that area when you were applying it, or not enough dwell time, not enough wait time on it. There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of factors.
So just recoat.
Yep. And Belinsky saying, thanks for the love, y'all. Glad to be here with you.
Thanks,
What's up,
Joey.
man? And D-Man Force 4. Hey, everyone. I recently put all the detailing knowledge and products you have to work. and I washed some family members' cars. I used PNS Defender. How will that stand up to a gas station car wash? Depends on the gas station car wash. It really does.
Some are pretty nasty.
Some are very, very high acids. Some are very high alkalis. It really just depends on what chemicals they're using and how they built the wash. But I will say that it will hold up a little bit. But I usually say that whatever you put on a surface of a vehicle, that timeline on it, and then you run it through a car wash, just know that you're pretty much going to have the timeline of that product. Some are more than others. Some last longer, some don't. It just depends.
Left to normal elements, they won't age that quickly. But when you put in a car wash, you're changing the environment.
Well, that's one thing Auto Wash really prides themselves on is they try to stay as close to pH neutral as possible on their washes, so that they're not using acids, they're not using high alkalis. They're able to keep in that range to protect your protection, because they actually care about that kind of stuff. So it really does depend on also the car wash itself.
What I'm hearing is they don't cut corners.
They try not to.
Yeah, you got the chemicals and then the maintenance, even the touchless ones. People don't realize the maintenance that goes into a touchless wash really will impact how it's cleaning and taking care of your car on top of it. So if you got to go to a gas station car wash, make sure it's one that looks like it's being maintained right. You don't see, trash cans that are just crazy over full, and those are all things that you want to make sure you're watching out for.
Or the car wash is clean.
Right, yeah. Is the car wash clean? You got to realize they're using recycled water. They have to use recycled water.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's good. And then I got Joey here.
My car has been caked in a sticky film for the last 3 weeks of not being able to wash it. Can't wait to see Diamond Body 36 shed the nastiness with a nice wash soon.
Yeah.
There you go, Joey.
Get a video.
Yeah, do that. Do it.
Everyone always sends us these comments. We have a lot of pro installers that are getting their maintenance vehicles back from their customers, and they'll tell us these things like, "Oh, diamond wheel this, diamond wheel that," and get a video of it. Like, that's the thing, is if you've got a really nasty car, get a video of it, post it up on the Rag Companies group, and let us see it, because everyone tells us about it and how crazy it is, but we never get to see. We just get to hear about it.
No, so some examples.
Take a video and share it. Share it, Joey.
Please share. And if you don't know where it's Facebook, it's the Rag Company discussion group. Just look it up; you'll find it right there. All right, we got Hans.
Gray FTWs. How do I get those? Are they international shippable? I'm sure they are, Hans. Go to Obsessed Garage's website.
Yeah, it's on their site. Glenn.
Just finished a detail on a 2016 Touareg, which is a full wrap. I hit it with Uno Advanced with a foam pad. What's your opinions on buffing a wrapped car? I do it all the time, Glenn.
Yeah, he's done it a lot.
I do it all the time.
I know you for sure did a bunch, right?
Yeah, I mean, most wraps nowadays can be lightly polished without harming them. Back in the day,
you couldn't.
They weren't made as nice.
Sensitive,
so yeah.
Nowadays, on many of the manufacturers, a lot of them have a over laminate that sits on top. That's part of the film now, and sometimes that laminate is thicker than clear coat, and that's the crazy thing. So, like the Avery Dennison series, that has a very thick laminate on top, enough that I was able to fully compound and polish after going and getting the classic Idaho pinstripes on the side of my truck. And I couldn't believe it. And then we heated it up a little bit, and it flattened out, leveled out. It was crazy. It's crazy. But the fact that it's like almost 5 years old, 5-year-old vinyl that's been coated and taken care of, there's a lot you can do with it still. And just be careful, because you can, if you get too much heat into it, you can burn through it, or you can change it, or you can discolor it, or any of that kind of stuff. So
I was going to say, it's not necessarily the case here because it is a few years old, but on more recent wraps, that kind of stuff, it's not uncommon to find wraps being followed up with some kind of coating or protection on top as well.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, you guys offer the PPF and wrap coating. There's those other places that do, but it's something that I think is kind of a good, responsible choice. If you get a car wrapped, you should be putting that on top just for that extra bit of security.
Oh, definitely.
Well, we're hosting training classes here for a number of the different, for Avery and 3M, and both classes that I've been sitting in, are now showing what to create as an upsell to these wrap installers.
Yeah.
Whether it's something like Diamond Quick Body as just a quick spray on, wipe off, or to the effect of even like what you guys saw at TRSEMA, the new Triple S, which is Justin Pate's product that's made by PNS. It's another product that you can put on the surface to sell to the customer that is getting them a level of protection.
One more thing.
And it's just one more thing to sell. So
touching it with the right thing, too.
Yep, and that's the biggest thing. So a lot of people are starting to have that. So I think they're going to last a lot longer, and we're going to see a lot more of that. Ron saying using a gas station car wash is like eating gas station sushi. Don't do it.
Just don't do it.
And then Mikey G, the Guzman, showing up saying, hey guys, for Matt and Tyler, what's your favorite product in the entire Diamond Protek lineup and why?
Dealer's choice.
Well, for me personally, like I love the whole lineup. I love my paint coatings, but I love glass coating. And a good glass coating is rather hard to apply, hard to diminish, or you don't get good characteristics.
Yeah.
Our glass coating bonds to your glass, gives you great characteristics, and actually becomes one with the glass surface. So it's much harder to even polish off your window.
Right.
So I love the glass coating.
All right.
I'm going to start with my my corporate answer here. So my corporate answer here is I love body prep and glass prep, because if you want the right results, you need to use a prep product that has nano diamonds in it, right? So that's like my corporate answer. Glass is my go-to. Some of my results I posted up in the Rag Company's Facebook group throughout the winter. So living out in New England, I actually was telling my Uber driver this morning as I was coming here from the airport. I put diamond glass on my windshield in November, and this entire winter, both Mandy and myself didn't ever have to use an ice scraper.
Yeah,
and I've
nuts.
never have I been sold on something so much in my life. As that, like you go out and the frost was suspended. But really, for me, the preps are huge. You got to use the right products to get the right results. Since you hit glass, I've got to hit body, right? So we have all the way up to 10-year coatings, and I love the ease of application, the way body lays down, the slick feel that you get out of it, the fact that if you were running a shop, so like I started as a mobile guy, and body to me, if we had something like that back then, like I would have gone with it. Why? Because you could have had a tent. It could have been a rainy day. You could have been working under a tent. You still could have diamond bodied a vehicle. And, once you've wiped it down and leveled it all out, you're instantly ready for the weather. You're not ready for, gas station car washes right away. You got to wait 7 to 14 days for a gas station car wash. But, the fact that you can detail with that and hit the road is
I did it in the middle of a farm in Italy. I had
that's
a diamond
right.
body on a Renegade, and it was easy. But it was one of those. The reason we did that video was for that reason. If you're a mobile guy or you're a home hobbyist and you at an apartment complex and you're literally under your carport and you've washed the car or you've rinsed it off and you've got it as prepped as you still can install a coating.
There was dust
and not have any
and
issues.
hay flying at that place too. So just to stress, the environments were far from ideal, and yet it worked out great.
Yeah.
On that little guy.
It cures quick enough that you can be in a less desirable environment. So if you were to take that same environment and try to put like Pro 60 or Pro 120 on, you're just asking for contaminants to get into the coating because of how long it takes them to flash. Where body, it's just such a nice
quick flash,
so that, and it's still, you can still manipulate it once it's flashed and everything. So it's not like you get instant high spots all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just is it's a moneymaker product to me, and it gives you that high gloss. And we're still car guys. You don't want to think to yourself, hey, I can't touch my car as much as I love to. So when you start putting on longer coatings, you limit what you get to do as in that therapeutic cleaning.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, Ronnie Yacht here.
Levi, I did that Uno Advanced and Defender combo on a Scarlet Ember 2019 Nissan Rogue. What an awesome shine for a one-step. Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. It's, like I said, it's pretty much the ProTech bead diamond, or the Uno Protect bead maker combo, just on steroids with Advanced and Defender combo. They work together so well. It's not even funny.
They play nice.
Franco says, Ron Ayote, no joke. I once saw a woman at a truck stop crack open a sushi plate and run it under both the chili cheese dispensers for the nachos.
No.
I lost all faith in humanity that day.
As
I
one
can see that,
should.
Frank. Yeah. Carson
Black.
saying, what's up, guys? Hey, Carson. Jeff C., question for Matt and Tyler. what are your preferred maintenance wash products and processes for Diamond Protek coatings? Do you have a drying aid suggestion that works best for the coatings?
All right, feel free, guys.
Go ahead.
I am so a lot of my background comes from bulk chemical side. So for me, the big thing is, depending on the environment that you're in, using a proper mineral spot remover or water spot remover of any variety. Our coatings are very durable. We're not scared of an acidic water spot remover. So if you're somewhere that you have a lot of mineral deposits, go ahead, break that out, clean it up with a mineral spot remover, water spot remover. And then on the flip side, if you're someone that you tailgate a lot and you've got transmission fluid, brake fluid, whatever else all gunked up, degreasers are designed for that. So you're going on the complete opposite spectrum. But hitting it with a degreaser is A-okay as long as you're not in direct sunlight. So those are my preferred decontamination or kind of maintenance wash processes there. If it's real dirty, we were talking to the gentleman earlier that said he's had 3 weeks since he's got to wash his car, and you want to kind of step it up if you've got that dirty situation. I mean, and I talked about my truck earlier, 200,000 miles. I have a 2020 Kia that we got in 2021, so it's 2 years old. Actually at the end of this month, and that's cracking over 70,000 miles. I think 79,000 miles.
Man,
so
you're just cranking them out.
I drive every now and then, and
emphasis on the every.
So maintenance to me is a little bit more dirty just because of the windshield time. Yeah. Doesn't mean you can't go to an O&R or an Absolute, something along those lines, for your, someone that does it a lot more frequently. But, between my windshield time and then having 4 kids, cleaning my car is an every now and then thing kind of for me.
Yeah, it kind of just depends on how much you use your car, how dirty it is. You're always safe with a good, shall we say, coating safe, all-purpose cleaner. Anything that you can dilute down, even if you feel like it's too strong, dilute it down. It's going to still do what you want it to do. But a nice APC foam or pre-rinse before the wash process, you will knock a lot of that dirt and grime off there, and then your wash process will essentially take care of the rest of it.
Yeah.
For a drying aid, I'm not a big drying aid person myself. I like to just use a air blaster and blast it all off there.
There you go.
Let it dry.
Okay.
So
Simple enough. Then I've got Hans here saying, I just hopped in the German freeway and hit 155 on the Speedo for a while, and oh my goodness, what is happening over here? The car will dry in a few miles. Okay, thanks, Hans. That's great. I really have no clue what that was, but all right, moving along here. We've got...
All will be revealed come 4th of July.
Oh, no, that's what that's for?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
This is going to be great.
Okay.
So, D-Man Force saying, Ron, I know, but they're not that concerned with their car. I did it because I have most of everything thanks to the rag company. Thank you, D-Man. Scott saying, hey guys, it has been an unusually rainy here in Colorado. Washing my coated car seems futile when it storms almost every afternoon. Am I just wasting my time, or should I keep up on maintenance washes? Scott, this is as much as I love to tell you to wash your car all the time, if it's coated, you don't have to.
Well,
and I'm of the statement that, and I know, Matt, you're pretty much along that same line. We don't wash our coated cars that much because of the fact that they're coated.
And we get busy.
Yeah, we get busy. But
life
stuff
happens.
But the whole reason for coating is to be that sacrificial layer for your clear coat. The coating is supposed to protect it for those reasons. When you can't clean the surface, you can't wash the surface. It's there for a reason.
takes the hit so that your clear does it.
So
Yeah.
the hard part is there are a lot of folks that go, oh man, I'm not taking care of my coating. You don't technically should take care of your coating. That's its job. It's doing its job, which is protecting your car from those rainstorms, from the amount of dirt and grime and stuff that you're seeing. So when you do your maintenance wash, when you have the time to do it, your finish should be protected. And the things that are on the surface shouldn't have a hard time coming off.
You were with me at Long Island Detail Supply, and Michael, our CEO, right? So another person, father, very busy. His wife has a business. He has businesses. Michael hadn't washed his vehicle that had Pro 120 on it.
Yeah.
We foamed it. The majority, what do we foam that
We
with?
foamed it with active foam, which is a pH of 8.5, 9.
Yeah.
That was it.
Probably 80% of that vehicle, no physical agitation, just foaming, came back.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was 20%, maybe less than 20%.
It needed to have a proper contact wash with a wash mitt and some soap. That was it.
Normal stuff.
We went up to, while you were on the other side of the car, I went up to one of the pillars and just ran my finger in a Z shape. And everywhere that not proper car wash technique, I know. Go ahead,
But the car hadn't been washed in
You're just
like
making a
3
point
years.
here.
Just
3
rained.
years.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, it rains.
No, he literally
Call it a
has
day.
not washed it for 3 years.
So, and really, his son hasn't washed it in 3 years.
Yeah.
But just a little Z shape, and you could see everywhere that my finger contacted.
Yeah, and you grabbed a towel, stuck it in a bucket of soapy water, and just washed
Yes.
one panel just with a microfiber towel.
Yeah.
And then I came back over and rinsed it, and it was
All returned.
brand new. You know, there was some light marring and some other stuff from 3 years of life, but the hydrophobics of the coating were immediate
Yeah.
and apparent right off the bat. And it was like, sweet. That's what you want from that type of coating.
Oh, yeah.
We're not saying to always do that because, like, I still want to sell soaps and I still want to sell free cleaners. Still want you to buy that stuff. But I'm just saying, you gotta remember why you got the coating in the first place.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, is to add that layer of protection.
Too many people get obsessed with layering layers upon layers upon layers, and they get lost in the sauce on that. But, if that's your thing.
Super Auto saying, where's Jamie the Cleaner, the Destroyer, and Resurrector of Diamond Protek? And D-Man saying, get that tax write-off, lol. The Meridian Marmot. Can you layer Diamond Body on top of Diamond Body 36? I've heard some people say that Diamond Body is slicker and has better water behavior than Diamond Body 36. Slicker, yes. Water behavior, I can't. They look the same.
They look very similar on water behavior.
Yeah.
There's a little bit better gloss. It gives you a little bit more of that wet look as you move into 36 and into that Pro line. They end up getting into
A little more glossy, candy gloss.
Yeah, it gets into a candy gloss. Chemically, you're actually moving into a sheet of glass, a nano sheet of glass being put on the vehicle, where body stays a lot more of that just rich color, that warming color to it, which is nice. Can you layer it? I'm going to kind of go over to you. The problem with nano diamonds for me, right, and you can even notice it, is if you ever come to a training class that I do, is I will layer body on top of body because of the way that it sheets, and we'll do a video of that tomorrow too because we'll already have it done.
Yeah.
But that first layer of body goes down, and a lot of it gets absorbed in, and you get these little droplets, these little beads on the surface. And as soon as you go into that second layer, you notice there's so much more droplets staying on the top where that bottom layer is rejecting it.
Yeah.
So I guess my question, I would kind of bounce that one off to you because there are separate chemistries there, but I personally haven't layered them that way.
You're not going to see a lot of added characteristics from layering them. Can you layer body on top of body 36? Technically, yes, you can layer it. Are you going to see anything? You're going to just get the shine, the gloss from the diamond body. Being layered on top of that, it's not like you're just going to see now 3 year plus 18 month. It's not going to add to the durability of it. You're putting a different coating on top of the diamond body 36. So you are stepping back in product.
Now, 2 layers of 36, though, you can definitely tell a difference of 2 layers of 36 versus 1 layer of 36. You're filling in those holes that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. It does give you a depth added to that.
It's noticeable.
It's definitely noticeable. I've talked to a lot of installers that are like, "Oh yeah, I thought the second layer wasn't needed, and now it's there, and I get why we're doing it." So.
Yeah, I'm always a fan, and this is something that I feel like I learned from Dan Williams, who works for Owner's Pride previously when he was Optimum. If you don't feel like doing that second layer, I recommend doing the second layer in the high traffic areas. So the front of your car, the very back of your car, the lowers, the spots that are going to get the most amount of dirt. Heck, you could even do the top of the roof where most people don't always clean.
Yeah.
So those are the spaces that you could reuse the product and do a second layer because you're going to benefit and your car is going to benefit from that because of that part. Now, obviously, you could do the whole car a second time, and you are going to get that. And I've stated that many, many times that I recommend 2 coats of all that stuff. But 1 coat will suffice. And if you do have some product left over, even if you just throw it on the front and the back, it's going to save you that much more.
And out of curiosity, because I'm sure everybody has their preference, but you guys would know best. What are the time frames for like the shortest period of time before you can add a second coat, and how long you could go before you add that second coat? What's the range?
So in a scientific standpoint, your window is between 45 minutes and an hour that you really want to put on your second coat.
Okay.
After that hour, you can start to see, usually not right off, but you can start to see rejection of that
So
second
there's some
layer.
issues. Okay.
Yep. So that 45 minutes to an hour is the scientific sweet spot.
Okay, so if you go before 45, is there still a chance it'll work, or are you kind of just tempting fate too much?
You're tempting fate. You're essentially, the product is still going to be there, but it's kind of like the sacrificial, leaving a high spot and putting some more on there. You want it to hit that cure time to make sure that there's no product being removed with that second layer.
It's like painting a wall, and you go to do that second coat, and the first coat's not dry, and you start going, and you're like, what the? And it's almost like if you're painting white over this brown, and you do that first coat, but you don't let it dry, and you go back over, that brown's still going to show through, and you're not gonna. It's going to be like almost pulling the old paint off, or that first coat off, and revealing the old paint underneath. Same thing with that.
And that's why I was
Getting too
asking
early.
for the range, because I'm not just asking for myself. I know there's people out there who are going to be wondering, like, how soon can I do it? But I think a lot of people, only once it's too late, start going, how long was too long? So I wanted to get that range just for anybody listening so that they really have an idea of
good
what
question,
you're looking
Dane.
at. But anyway, Tyler.
Yeah, and that window, I mean, the reason that window's there is you go below that window, and exactly like Levi's saying, you're starting to remove off that first layer. That first layer wasn't able to bond. And
You're
do what
erasing
it's
the work
supposed
you
to do.
just did.
Right. And then you've got the opposite side of it where you get too long, and now that first layer begins rejecting the second layer that you're trying to put on.
Because it's already working.
Yeah.
A good coating will reject itself.
Right.
I mean, that's why when you go into some of our pro coatings, we have multiple, base coats and top coats, because otherwise a good coating will reject itself.
But
It
for
should.
that brief window in time, they play nice.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Got it. All right. Next up, I've got CJ Burns saying, I have been commuting to Cincinnati from Rockford in a rental car. I put DPT Diamond Glass on the rental car. 3 months, 7,500 miles, countless bug and bird bombs, performs like day one. So, yeah, you got a fan of glass there for sure.
There we go. 7,500 miles. You drive like I do.
Yeah. That's an afternoon.
Hans closing saying, Roneo, Mexico's a bit far from me. Plus, my car can't drive over water. And I've been in Mexico. Those speed bumps I've seen there will rip off your front bumper. CJ Burns saying, I do not want to drive a car without a window coating. Yeah, no, that's like...
You know this real fast.
I remember
it.
there was one year I replaced the front windshield on my little Elantra like twice. And I remember I had coated the first windshield that I had, and I ran that for like 10 years. And then that windshield was 10 years old and was coated. Then it broke. Then I put a new windshield in it. Coated. I drove it the first day and it was raining, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I hate this." and I was so mad that I was like, should have left the shop, and I should have put even just some wax on it or something to get me by. And I remember coming in the next day, coating the glass, and going like, "All right." Then I got a rock chip, and that chip exploded, and I was like, "Dang it!" That window was like 3 months old, and drove it with that for another year and a half, and then decided to buy a new windshield. Same thing, dumping rain that day, and I'm driving it home, and I'm like, "Oh, didn't coat this brand new windshield. It's horrible. It's an awful. There's no water repellency, nothing. It was horrible." And so now to this day, it's like the moment I've gotten a car, that's the very first thing I do, and that was the first thing when I bought this latest car for the family. That day I got it home, I pulled it into the garage, and I had Diamond Glass Prep, and I went over there and I just started spraying and scrubbing and cleaning the glass and getting it as ready to go. Pulled out some Diamond Glass and coated the windshield. I thought, felt the car and it was covered in overspray and contaminant. And I was like, yeah, at least the windshield's done. I can sleep at night.
Yeah. And if you're not sure about coatings, put a glass coat on your windshield and you will see the night and day difference. It's the entry level of
It's inexpensive compared to other methods.
Yeah, you get to
of
see
coating.
what a coating's going to do, and it's out of your view. It's in your view, so you will notice it.
Yeah. Well, and Jeff Hennon famously, like I coated your dad's truck with DPT 120, the very first version of it. I coated his Denali in it, and then I did his glass in Diamond Glass, and he was always like, it's good. Yeah. He doesn't ever wash his car, so he's like, he lets us wash it. So he's like, hope it's working, hope it's going great. And then one day he drove home from McCall in a rainstorm.
Yep.
And he started taking videos of it while he was driving down the mountain.
That's a windy road to go.
When he's driving down the mountain, he's taking videos.
I don't know, man.
And he calls me and he's like, is this the Diamond Glass on here?
He's just figuring it out.
And I said, yeah. And he's like, holy cow, this is amazing. He's like, haven't had to turn on my wipers. Like, I can see. He's like, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. And I said, cool, good. And he's like, this is awesome. And then as soon as he got home, he sent all the videos that he had made to Anthony and I. And he was like, oh my gosh, you guys, if the product's this good, I'm sold. He was so excited. But he had that. That was the first time he actually got to see a coating in action.
It just feels like basically a prerequisite if you live anywhere that gets regular rain. I realize here in Idaho we're a little dry, but when we visit other places, some of the storms we've driven through, it's like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to live here. When we have a rental car, almost always horrible, windshield wipers that clearly need to be replaced. Everything's smearing. Having seen what a glass coating could do, it would have solved so many problems. But yeah, if you live in an area like that,
I just
in a rental car. I was like,
before you get started,
you know what? I'm gonna just pack one of those. It's a small enough bottle. It fits in luggage. I'm like,
easy.
You know what?
Take 10 minutes out in the parking lot before you get in the car, or maybe you stop at a gas station.
I'll do it right in the Hertz parking garage. Like, what are you doing? Just don't worry, don't mind me. Yeah. It takes 10, 15 minutes, depending on the humidity.
It
Boom,
is
done.
Yeah, and you don't
much
have to worry.
easier now too, because in the past, glass coatings were like a multi-step procedure, and it's all this stuff. Now, you can get out there with just one bottle, done. But you have no excuse these days.
There you go.
So.
Ron saying it's just an expression. I'm jealous that you can drive at that speed. Anything over? They're talking about driving in Germany.
They're talking about getting the water spots off your car by driving fast.
John Hill saying, love DPT interior and leather. After washing the outside, I just use a microfiber in my wash bucket and do a quick wipe down, and the interior looks new within minutes. That's right. That's what it's for, especially when you've got those lovely kids back there in the picture destroying the interior.
Yep.
It's not destroyed. It's protected.
It's protected
That's
because
right.
they can do their
It's not destroyed
darndest to
because
break it.
it's protected.
Yeah. Vincent Alessio saying, I'm looking to do a maintenance wash on a customer's car. I coated with Diamond Body 36, and I have Defender available. Should I use it to layer? So I would just say you can use Diamond Body 36, like that you have coated already on the car. You can use Defender if you want to. There isn't a need. I will tell you that you will wash that car with Diamond Body 36, and if you wash it properly, you shouldn't have any issues, and you may not need to use Defender at all.
So I personally haven't. I have a bottle of Defender at home that I just got in because I do want to use it, right? Yeah. So the only struggle, sometimes the hurdle that you have putting nano diamonds on your car is sometimes it doesn't play well with certain SiO2s.
Yeah.
So I know there are some ceramic sealants that it rejects like instantly. It almost looks like you spray it with the sealant and it comes off like a drying agent.
Yeah.
I don't know if Defender is one of those yet. I have to play with it to have that answer. Just realize that you had your base coat, your clear coat, then you put on your Diamond Protek, your DB36. If you add Defender on top of that, you're going to get all of your hydrophobic results and your gloss results from the Defender, and you're going to be covering up and masking the results of the 36.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing is it's okay if that's what you want to do. Just realize that you're now taking that that hydrophobic properties away for that customer until the Defender wears away.
Right.
You're essentially masking it. So,
Yeah. And it's still there. It's just underneath. And sometimes you might need to do a heavy decontamination wash to remove the Defender if the customer's not happy with the results.
Yeah, and that's kind of a personal pet peeve of mine, just looking online when I see some people complaining that a coating they got put on there isn't behaving right, and then you find out later on that they put some other kind of like SiO2 spray or something over it, and they're mad at the coating. It's like, well, hold on. There's something in between you washing and that coating. It's what you put on it to protect it last time over the coating.
Most people don't
and it's
realize.
like they just have goldfish memory and they forgot
They don't realize
they
the
did that or
chemistry
something.
between those two. And not every product will work on
So,
that surface.
I'm just saying, don't always blame the coating.
The best thing and the rule of thumb is to get the maintenance product designed for that coating. And if your customer has Diamond Body put on their car, get Quick Body. If they've got Legend or Inspiration on their car or Soul, get Defender. Like if they've got G-Technic product coatings on their car, get C2V3. Like
Keeping it in the family.
You're
helps.
going to have less issues if you keep them within the family than mixing and choosing and popping and picking different stuff, because they're designed to do those. They're designed to fix that job, and they're designed to keep the same contact angle as the coating that they are putting on top of.
We're not saying you can't do that. It's just don't expect perfection if you choose to mix and match and play.
Flak Pyro. Power Clean has so many uses. And then Hans saying, I know Germans are crazy, but if you crash at those speeds, they will rip you to shreds on all fronts.
Visceral.
Further detail says, so when DPT coatings eventually reach the end of their useful life, what process do you recommend to prepare the vehicle for a fresh DPT coating?
Gentlemen?
Well, I mean, to prep any surface fully for a coating, you're best off with a light polish. That's going to pull off any, say, dead coating or any contaminants that the coating might have built up in its lifetime. So you're always best off with a light polish to refresh that. If you put in a DPT coating on top of a DPT coating and you don't want to do a polish, the prep wipe and a reapplication should work just fine.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
$10.
what?
All right.
Hey,
From Jay's
thank
Car
you.
Channel. Happy Friday Eve, bros. What's up, dude?
Just
Thank
making
you.
sure the button works. That's
Appreciate
right.
you
can send super
dropping that
thanks and all
super chat since Dane turned the button back on.
Turn on the button.
Franco saying, I just washed my car and used Defender. It was great. And my car was coated in Diamond Body 36. There you go.
There we go.
Dino
There's the
saying,
answer.
wait, we have ads now? Yeah,
Okay,
because
so-
Dane turned it on because of the super chats.
When I turned on the super chats, it also activated YouTube doing the ads. So apologies in advance if you don't have YouTube Premium or Red or whatever they got going on. It's just that's
Hard
the
to get in
trade-off.
super chats.
Sorry, and it seems like it's tailored towards individuals, so everybody's having a different experience. So
We
apologies.
hope you
on that
enjoy
front.
yours, Dino.
Yeah, or if you
In
have premium,
Austria.
you didn't notice. So just saying.
I don't know what Austrian ads they're playing for you.
Yeah, who knows?
Randy
Something interesting, I'm sure.
Randy Ricochet saying, hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Great to catch a live show again. What's up, man?
Hey, glad to have you here.
Franco saying, thanks, guys. I actually still have a bit of Diamond Body 36 left, and it still looks good in the bottle. A good wash and prep or do the whole 9 yards and repolish? You could probably just prep it, wash it, prep it, put it on.
Yeah. Any
be
notes,
fine.
or that's it?
As long as you don't have
good-
any damage.
The big thing is decontamination. You don't want to coat over contamination. So
Right.
as long as your prep, removes anything from there, if a polish isn't needed, great. If you can get away with a mechanical decontamination or a chemical one, be good to go from there.
There
Okay.
you go. D-Man Force 4 saying thanks for the info. And Franco
bet.
saying that redo that spot. Yep.
And now it's a mystery what page I'm going to go to. We have stuff from as soon as 32 minutes ago. If I have page 3, that's a while back. Okay, we're on page 1. Look
There
at
we
that.
go.
Okay, keep those questions coming, guys. This has been a great show. We have a lot of stuff coming through, and we really appreciate it. And actually, we need an auto wash in Minnesota. I agree. I think auto wash anywhere would be a good thing. But
There you
at this point, we are at the halfway point in the show, which means we're kind of chilling for a second here. We're going to take a little bit of an ad break of our own, but hey, it's our ad, so don't worry. It's not something Google put in there. That's just us. It's for TRC and friends of TRC. And we're going to go take a little water break, so don't go too far, but grab your snacks, and we'll meet you back with more questions right after these.
amazing.
Dane, I didn't know you could do any of that stuff.
Neither did I.
Wow.
Well, now that you're an actual bartender,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe whip us up some signature
Oh,
cocktails.
yeah.
I mean,
Dane, do it.
I mean, it's my first day, but let me see what I can whip up.
nice.
Oh,
What?
jeez, Dane.
What?
Oh, my God.
Wow, Dane.
Dane.
For being your first day, it's pretty amazing.
Looking for feedback. Let me know what you think.
Oh, my God. This stuff smells amazing.
Good, all right.
Well, Levi, Dane, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Nice.
Bottoms up.
Cheers.
Thanks, Dane.
God, why are you spitting my drink up? I worked hard on that.
What is in it? Is that polymers?
My mouth is encapsulating.
Why would you even know what polymers taste like?
Tastes like chemicals. Did you feed us chemicals?
What did you put in this?
I made you a nice drink. At least it's supposed to be nice. Oh, guys, that's my car.
What?
You hit my car. God, guys, if you didn't want the drinks, you could have just given them back to me or something.
Dane.
Are you seeing that shine over there? On the car.
Oh my God. Dane, what did you put in that stuff?
What, in your drinks?
Yeah.
Some water and some Absolute.
Absolute vodka?
No? PNS Double Black Absolute Rinseless. Wow.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to poison us?
Dane, did you just make us drink rinseless water?
No, definitely didn't do that.
Absolute Rinseless Wash is not for oral or suppository consumption.
Looks pretty good.
It does, however, leave a hell of a clean and smooth surface on your vehicle.
Wow.
PNS Absolute Rinseless Wash. Mix responsibly.
Is that something?
I mean, it's pretty good.
Did I
I'm
make a
kind of
good thing?
enjoying it. I'm kind of liking this.
Yeah. So just don't drink it.
No.
Yeah, let's make sure we don't drink it for the future.
But do put it on cars.
Yeah, it's good. It's for
Put it
cars,
on a car. Okay.
not inside you.
Go ahead, get dirty. P&S Off-Road.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half Q&A Thursday, where we are having very interesting and in-depth conversations involving coatings, detailing products, cars, you name it. We got it all covered here. These guys have been great. So once again, we are joined in the studio by Diamond Protek Zone, Matt and Tyler, and we are good to go.
Answer some questions, and this is the fun half. I will say, you guys are probably wondering where Anthony is.
Sure.
Now, if you just tuned in, Anthony is preparing his body
Oh boy, here we go again.
for Honda Days.
Happy Honda Day.
And for those of you that are wondering why he had to take 2 days off to prepare his body, well, he's got a couple cars that he wanted to work on.
Right.
Get them ready as well.
Yeah.
But then he's got to follow around all day Anthony and take
Yeah.
pictures and videos or something of him. So he's got another job basically that he has to do. That he's
busy.
apparently not getting paid for. So very strange. Very
I mean, he's
strange
doing it pro
occurrence.
bono. That's
Something
just the
like-
kind of guy
it's
he
just-
is.
it's
You
like
know?
a friend kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know. So
Friends and
anyway,
family
we wish him
discount.
luck. We wish him well on his car show prep
Yes.
for his multiple Hondas.
Now, before we get into the questions, I'm going to ask you all right now, all those who are looking, please click that like button and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Helps us out, helps you out by helping us out. So that's all I'm going to say on that front.
Yep.
I got to do it at the middle of the show.
There you go.
Just
And for
catch
those
it.
local, it's Honda Days. Larry Miller,
Yes.
Honda, Saturday morning.
We're not sponsored by
Check
them
it
or
out.
anything. It's just a local
Yeah,
thing.
it's just something Anthony's doing over there. I don't know.
So,
anyway,
look it
Tom Chicago,
Yeah.
Tommy Chicago saying happy Friday Eve and welcome Diamond Protek. Tommy, also thank you for coming to the Detailer's Domain event last month.
Yeah.
I have Diamond Body 36 applied to my 2016 WRX, and it looks amazing. I remember I saw it in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for such an incredible product.
Oh,
Thank you for using it.
And then Glenn Dennis saying, I've done several wrapped cars. Thanks for the feedback. Buff very lightly, kept the heat to a minimum. Good work, Glenn.
Excellent.
And then Franco saying, Texas pinstripes are from mesquite brushes and trees. Idaho pinstripes are from potato plants?
We have
yes.
trees too.
Also trees.
The city of potatoes.
Yeah, we are the city of trees. And then
city of potato trees.
Vasilis K saying, hey guys, 4 weeks after applying Diamond Body 36, I gave my vehicle its first thorough wash. I have to say, I was not impressed with the hydrophobics of the coating.
But
2 weeks later, though, I washed it again, and the only difference being using a different pre-foam, and the hydrophobics were jaw-dropping. Any additional thoughts on what could have occurred?
what happened, guys?
Well, it kind of sounds like you got some contamination on there within the first couple weeks, and then looks like using that different pre-foam is what it needed to pull it off there.
Yeah. We've noticed that, like what I've said is Diamond Body 36 gets a little sticky. Gets a little grabby. It likes to hold on to stuff. And so one thing we've been talking about is it needs that higher pH or that more agitation to remove those contaminants from the surface.
Sounds as soon as they went into that second wash, it reminded me of your comment on Jamie's post, and we talked about Jamie earlier a little bit. And Jamie made a video, some areas he wasn't happy with, and you had commented, "Hey, wash it again."
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
still dirty.
Okay, I'm gonna wash it again. He washed it 30 more times, and each time he washed, he's like, "It's more hydrophobic. It's more hydrophobic." Whoa, whoa, whoa! And then we ended up having a whole call on it, and he also changed that pre-wash up on it.
Yeah.
So it's I'd agree with you. It's grabby. Sometimes it holds on to what it's protecting your car
Yeah.
from.
So one thing I will tell folks is if you don't have a high pH soap in your lineup, one thing you can do is grab a product like Power Clean from Optimum or Forced from Stiarna Gloss. Both of those products are above a pH of 12, and you can dilute them. So you can run them at 4-to-1. You can put them in a foam cannon, and you can foam the surface of the vehicle with them. You can mix them in with your soaps to up the pH of that soap. So let's say even something as simple as like P&S Pearl, which is just a basic soap. You can mix Forced, or you can mix some Power Clean in there as well. Add a couple, 100, 200 milliliters into your foam cannon, and you will bump that pH up to about an 8 or a 9. And you can use that as a pre-cleaning foam on those types of coatings, and they will really like that more.
a lot of people
You can
don't-
also use it straight or just out of this bottle.
Yeah, a lot of people also don't realize that they're using a wash and wax or a wash and protect. And
Yeah.
that's another big thing is when you start washing with a wash and wax, you're adding that extra sacrificial layer on top, which is, it's not that the DB36 isn't under there, it's just covered up. It's covered up by an extra layer of protection that you just got to get off. And sometimes that's what the pre-wash did on the next go around.
Yeah. So, because that wax is the behavior that you're seeing after you go and you rinse it next time. It's a different animal. So, yeah. My guy Kirby here saying, for Tyler or Matt, will Diamond Protek come out with a small kit for coating bicycles and motorcycles?
Well, I'm
They're very quiet over here.
I have that.
Suspiciously so.
I have that kit. We are testing. I will just say that.
Okay.
Martin Richards saying hi TRC.
Hey, hey.
And then In Focus saying, if there are no beads in the diamond body bottle, would that not mix properly, though, even if shaken a lot?
It will mix properly.
It will.
It just needs a little bit more agitation. There were some bottles that got out of the warehouse without some beads in them. It will still mix up, but you just need a little bit more agitation to it.
Yeah. Okay. I will say I've been to Yverdon, and I've watched the people put the beads in the bottles, and they literally, it's the same person that is putting the beads in the bottle is also the person putting the bottle onto the conveyor that is then going through. And so it is possible that at one point that person stopped to go to the bathroom and said, hey, make sure you take care of those bottles, because there's only a few people in the lab at once. There's less than 6 to 8 people in that lab.
Check out our video where we went to Switzerland.
Watch our video where we're in the lab.
That's cool.
But if that person went to go use the bathroom real quick and just stopped, and someone came up and didn't realize or didn't think about it, and they're maybe, they're working on a different equation or something, and they walk up and they're just like, oh, they said to put some bottles on there, and they just set the bottles on, because it goes through the filler and the labeler all at once, because it's a table about the size of this table. And if they're in another part of the lab working, and that person just has to run to the bathroom, it's very easy and simple to go, oh crap, you just ran a batch and we forgot to put the things in, because by the time it comes out, they don't see it. It's a finished bottle and they're just loading the boxes. So it happens. But yeah, like Matt said, shake it up a little longer. Instead of 15 seconds, maybe 20, 30 seconds. You'll be fine.
All right.
Rick Smith, legitimate question. What is the purpose, selling point of a 7 to 10 year coating when most people don't keep a vehicle that long? False.
I have the actual data, and the average, at least in the U.S., for an individual to own a car is 8 years. That is the current average. Now, granted, that's gone up in recent years, but I think it's safe to say people are keeping their cars longer because everything's gotten more expensive in the last few years. So anything to add to that regarding his question about what's the point of these 7 to 10 year coatings?
I do know mileage is something we've kind of talked about on possibly adding to our products, because you'll notice, as we were kind of joking about earlier, as I drive every now and then, there's a lot of people that drive every now and then. Once upon a time, a 20,000, or I believe actually a 12,000 mile is what the insurance company would love for you to drive every year.
Yeah.
12,000 miles is something that I've put away in a month a couple times. And there's a lot of people that do that nowadays. So although something may be considered a 10-year coating, it may not be 10 years for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
And that's because of the way it's driven.
Yeah.
You think of it, if you bought your truck brand new in 2014 and you put that 10-year coating on it, like you're at 9 years now with 200,000 miles on the odometer.
Right, but 9 years should be around 100,000 miles if I drove what you're supposed to drive.
Right, but if you think of that, just that amount that you have used the vehicle, that coating could be either you've worn it off because of how many times it's been washed or cared for or whatever, because it's like it is just that same thing with the oil changes. There are people that in your situation, you're literally getting an oil change on the way back from you left your house for a weekend and you got the oil changed, and on your way back you're getting an oil change again because you're at that time where you need to do it, because the motors ran through those cycles. Yeah. That durometer on there is of the hourometer on the motor.
Well, I was about to say, like on a commercial equipment, you always have the engine hours, something like that.
Yeah.
That feels like one of those things where, that could be a particular method, but if it's a car that sits maybe outside in the elements a lot more, it's a different story. There's like so many different ways this can play out.
The key
it's hard to come up with a metric that everybody can understand that you could just say,
because
someone's going to get you
customer.
on a technicality every time.
But talk to your customer.
Yeah.
Find out. What do they want? How do they want to keep it? Like when your dad bought his car, his new car, what was that 10 years ago.
Yeah, 9 years, yeah, 10 years.
He was so proud of that thing, and we put Pro Plus on it.
Yeah.
At the time, it was a
Pro
7-year coating. But he kept that car immaculate, and he kept it in such great shape. And he was really proud of it because it was the first real brand new car he'd ever bought.
Yep.
And he was so proud, and it was one of those things where it was like, all right, we're doing this. And then he bought his motorcycle, and you coated that as well. But he cares for it. And his goal was he wanted to keep it till he died, basically, right?
Yep.
Well, till he died. He's not dead. But but he wanted to keep it nice. And so it makes sense to go to a higher level coating. If he was like, my name's Dane Hennon. I change cars every 3 years. We don't need to put the 10-year coating on Dane's Flex because he's going to get rid of it in 6 weeks.
I'm not the least bit
So
offended.
he's going to find
It's
a car to
okay.
sell and buy another one. And so, like, it's okay. Anyway, over under on Dane's Flex still. We're taking bets on that. How long
I
are you going to keep
really,
it?
really like
now that he
that
just
thing.
lowered it. So
Which is like the death knell. Now suddenly it means it's going to change.
Yeah.
The other big thing there is if we take, so if we just take the 3 families of body coatings that we have. So we've got Diamond Body, we've got 36, which is kind of like a hybrid a little bit, and then you've got 60 and 120. Well, 60 and 120 is completely different chemistry. So although you look at it as a 5-year or a 10-year coating, they chemically do a completely different job in those 3 or 4 layers of coatings that get laid down to the surface of the vehicle. So they give you a much more depth of paint finish. They're getting more of a glass look finish to it, that caramel result to it, versus that warm color that you would get out of like the body. So other manufacturers may have the same thing. It's not like they're taking the same chemistry and just, okay, we'll put this much pixie dust in it, and that's 18 months. This much pixie dust is 3 years, and that much
I'm
pixie
sure
dust.
how people imagine it
So,
works.
yeah,
Like, oh, come on, you're just,
They are just completely different across the board in the chemistry as well.
yeah, there you go. Espen saying, "Hi fra Norge. Hi, Espen fra Idaho." Shooting some questions in, if it's okay. What new
Absolutely.
product or machine do you think will come into detailing in the future? How is detailing different in the future?
classic question.
That's
Wanted
a
to
good question.
peer into your crystal ball.
What else did he
would
write
turn
on
out.
there? Let's see real quick. He's got 2 more. Just got the Diamond Products in Norway. I've tried the glass coating. I like it a lot, but tried topping with Beadmaker today, and the Beadmaker turned hazy and a pain to remove. Yeah, don't put anything on the glass coating. It does not need it. It just needs to be cleaned. That's it. Espen says, if you compare ONR and PNS Absolute, what's your experience, pros and cons of both? Okay, Espen. So,
We've got a bunch.
what new product or machine do you think will come into detail in the future? That I have no idea. I will say everything has changed over the last 10 years so much. Detailing is completely different. Matt and I remember 15, well, it's not even that long.
What's old is new again.
It's been
sometimes,
10
too.
years, and we were watching dry ice blasting.
Yeah.
And we were like, holy crap, this is revolutionary. Holy cow. Wish we could have one in our shop. And then seeing the costs, which were $100,000 at that time
Stupid expensive.
Yeah.
for a dry ice machine. And now it's $10,000 and less to set that up into your own shop now. There are still some hurdles that have to be accounted for,
Like
but
your dry ice melting.
but that's already now much more accessible. We look at
Yeah.
like Paul Dalton's first dry ice machine. It was the size of this table.
Yeah.
And
Now they're portable machines.
now
so-
they're portable. They're half the size of that fridge behind you.
Crazy small.
Like,
yeah.
So pretty wild to see that change. The advent of battery technology, I think.
It's getting better.
It's getting better and better. And then, like I said, the ease of install of products, so much easier than it used to be back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Things are more user-friendly nowadays, for sure. For your
Yeah.
professionals and your DIYers.
Yeah, the lines are almost blurring.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about tools and products, I mean, people might be thinking of, oh, you went from waxes to sealants to coatings, and then what's next after that? Some people got hooked on graphene, and then they got nano diamonds and all that stuff, but those are still in the coating space. I mean, we haven't gone beyond that yet necessarily, at least in the detailing industry. But I'm also thinking like battery technology, like you were saying, is improving. I'm thinking stuff like compressed air. Like as battery technology improves, you can make it lighter. You could potentially have larger compressed air tanks that run off of, standalone power units and stuff that you don't need to wire up into a car or do other stuff with. It's something you could take with you. That's appealing. If you can get up to the levels of what would normally require a shop or a vehicle wired up, that would be something kind of cool to have compressed air on the move. But that's still just taking things and improving on them. That's not necessarily something new. I think it's just going to be a whole lot of what's old is new again as, people turn their eyes to something that now the tech has improved. You can go back to something you thought was kind of done and rehash it with kind of a new spin.
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Tyler, anything you got to add?
No, it's funny hearing you talk about, what's old is new, right? So you had compressed air, then all of a sudden the Tornador came out, really re-innovated it. Rotaries are coming back. Man, like...
They're lighter.
Yes.
With throttle control, which we didn't have back in the day.
A variation now.
You did. It was just
It was how much you could... Yeah, it was feathering that off. Literally what that was.
Being on a route truck, when I was able to see everyone every day, I was moving everyone over to DAs, right? When I got off of that, and for 5 years, I may have been seeing someone for 30 minutes, and then I would never see them again. I'd walk in. If they were using rotary, I had to go in and just teach them how to do rotary better, right? Rotaries have changed so much, because we slapped a pad on a grinder. Coatings, there's a handful of changes that have happened with coatings. Almost every coating was UV cured before, right?
Or IR cured.
IR cured, sorry. Yeah. Everything was IR cured before, right? So now we got into reasonable air cure flash times. Then you're getting into better flash times. You look at something like Diamond Protek, which is a PHPS coating, and using that webbing that you get with a nano diamond technology, you're able to put a PHPS coating on a car where, PHPS coatings are brittle, just very similar to kind of most ceramic coatings. So we're kind of not reinventing the wheel, but we're making the wheel better. So we look at dry ice as another one of those things. So it was $100,000, then it was $40,000, and some people were like, "Ooh, I can make this work." And now all of a sudden we're looking at $12,000 dry ice machines
or steamers.
Economies of scale play, all that.
It makes it definitely a different change for sure. I think we're never going to go away. People worry. They're like, "Oh man, detailing might die, or the shops might die."
As long as personal transportation exists.
There are cars, regardless of what they're going to be made of or run off of, there's still going to be cars.
Oh yeah.
People are still going to want to clean and protect their transportation because they're still going to want to do that, whether they learn to do it themselves or they still pay somebody to do it. They're always going to be that person that doesn't really want to do that. They don't care. It's like I just taught Augie how to wash a car. He wants to wash cars every day. He actually enjoys it. His sister, I'll sit in the car and watch you wash it. She's fine with that. She'll come out and maybe spray it if it's for half a second. She wants to play with the foam cannon. But then she's done. She doesn't like the noise. She doesn't like the. She's like, I'm good. I'll just sit in the car and listen to music. So you're always going to have those personalities in those kids and in those new people that are going to be growing up and taking over that next generation. Augie might want to start detailing cars, or he might go, "Man, I've been washing cars since I was a kid. I'm done. I'm just going to run it through the car wash. I don't need to worry about this." Where his sister may go, "Yeah, I don't want to be, I didn't like washing cars as a kid, but I actually find it's really comforting and soothing and relaxing for me."
Nothing wrong with that.
Who knows, right? So it's never going to go away. I think it's just going to make it easier. And you think about waxes, sealants, polishes. Waxes, it take 30, 45 minutes to an hour. People be out waxing their vehicle. Now, and you're getting maybe tops 3 months protection. Now you can get up to 9 months to a year, which is just a quick spray application of a product.
10, 15 minutes. Boom, done.
It's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Well, and as you guys have pointed out, coming from the coating itself, coming from an aerospace background, that kind of stuff, even literally space travel kind of background, it's not always the detailing industry where you're going to see some of these advancements first.
Correct.
It's going to pop up other places, maybe in some very high-end applications or some very super niche specific stuff like protecting cables for communications at the bottom of the Atlantic or whatever stuff you might think of. it might appear there first rather than just detailing, because detailing is usually taking an idea that was meant for something else and adapting it to work in the detailing space.
Yeah. And then the one thing that we've completely overlooked is microfibers.
Oh, that's a whole thing in and of itself.
Right?
Weird.
Those have changed over and over again.
Oh,
Every, every time I'm here, I'm like, I got to learn more about this. So,
You can go down that rabbit hole. We can take you there.
Yeah, no,
We'll
we
take
don't
you
have
there.
enough time left, I'm sure.
Ron Ayotte saying,
Great plug.
all I have done for washes on my 3 coated vehicles is Absolute or DIY rinseless, and have used either C2V3 or Defender as a topper, and they still sheet water like a duck. There you go. Awesome, man. Jeff C. saying,
This is the one we didn't answer for Espen.
if you can compare ONR and PNS Absolute, what is your experience, pros and cons? Neither. I don't have pros or cons between the two. I like them both, and I use them whenever I want to.
There you go.
That's it, Espen. I don't worry about it. I just use what I like, and I like both. Jeff C., I know that flash times are dependent on temp and humidity, but is there a minimum amount of time that you want Diamond Body 36 to be on the surface before leveling? Is it detrimental if not left on long enough? At least 5 minutes, I would say, Jeff. At least.
Yeah, you're about that 5-minute window. Depending on, obviously, like you say, temperature, humidity, it could be a little bit longer. Our instructions say up to 15. Some places that is way too long. Always do a test spot first. Make sure that you are comfortable with the application and the removal of the product before you go on with the vehicle. But yeah, about 5 minutes is that sweet spot that you really want it to be on there.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a fight to remove.
No.
It should be almost like wiping dust off the top of it. So if you're fighting it, if you really have to like hunker down, then you're too early.
Something's wrong.
Franco, we can put toppers and detailers on DPT exterior coatings with maintenance washes. Is it okay to use our favorite dressings on Diamond Protek interior ceramic coatings or not advisable?
Both of our interior products are...
They're permeable.
Yeah, I was going to say they're breathable, so there's nothing stopping you. Permeable, the fancy word, the basic word. But
yeah, you can put stuff on top of them.
You could. There's nothing stopping you from putting any dressing that you want on it if that's a finish that you're looking for.
Ideally, you just don't want to clog the stuff. So, yeah.
Twiggy Buick saying, is there a good coating for raw metals like polished aluminum and stainless steel? So, raw metals are always continually oxidizing. So you have to remember that a raw metal will oxidize faster than clear coat. So that means it's going to try and always continually shed whatever is on its surface. Now, I was advised by the chemist for DPT that all the DPT coatings could be used on metal surfaces. However, the one they most recommend is diamond wheels on headers, on stainless, on raw aluminum. You can use those products on those surfaces.
Makes
but
sense.
You do have to remember that metal is the way he describes it as metal is a living thing. It's always going to try and shed itself like a dog jumping in the water. It's going to try and dry itself off. Yep. And you can put product on it, but it is always naturally going to do that because it's naturally what's going to occur. Now, it is going to last a little longer than it normally would, but at one point, Mother Nature will take over and it will shed. Yeah. So that's what that is. Now, there are other metal coatings and metal products that are designed with sealants in them, with coatings in them that can protect and work with that, but all of them live in that same lifespan. So you're never going to get a 10-year metal coating.
No.
It's not. It's just not possible. You might find a 3-year metal coating, but depending, again, temperature, humidity, where you live, how it's used.
The abuse, yep.
Abuse, it's going to shorten. And right now, I think the only thing is there is about a 3-year life on a coating. Majority of companies say 1 year. So,
I mean, if you want it to last longer at that point,
you just polish it and reapply it.
Yeah. You at some point get to the point where you should be clear coating it, and you should be clear coating not just the face and the barrel, but you actually need to take the tire off and clear coat the inside because there's also oxidization that comes through from the interior of it. So it
follows the path of least resistance. Wherever there's an opening, it'll take it. So,
and now it's not a raw aluminum rim; it's now a coated rim.
Yep. Right. Yep. So, Ron Ayotte saying, "Smash that like button."
Yes, please do.
Glenn Dennis says these YouTube ads during the live stream is annoying. Still not upgraded to premium though. Nice try, Google. Clicked one ad about railings. Now that's all the ads I get.
Railing? What, like stairway railings?
Yeah. Vasila saying, can you apply quick body on Diamond wheels? Yes, you can. Brian G saying, hey guys, been a while since I was here and just hopping in now. Can Dreammaker be applied over fresh paint? Yes, it can. Or is it like a wax? We need to wait a couple weeks. No, Brian.
You're all right with that.
Dreammaker has such light protection. We say it'll last until your next wash.
Yeah, it's very short.
It lasts about a week to 2 weeks, sometimes up to a month, depending on how the car is cared for and garaged. So, like on my dad's car, we just did on the Father's Day Live. You spray Dreammaker on that. It's going to go right back into his garage. It's going to be sitting inside a garage. He's going to come out, take it to a car show. He may spray some more Dreammaker on it, take it back and park it in the garage. That Dreammaker is going to still be on the surface when I go get it 6 months from now and I wash it for the first time. So that's kind of how we say that, but it doesn't have enough protection to really fully bond. It will wash off within the next wash. So if it's 2 weeks or a month, it'll come off. So
it's harmless.
It's all right. You're going to be just fine. CJ Byrne, could a regular consumer please get access to Diamond Body 36 in sizes larger than a 30 mil? After my experience with glass, I want Diamond Body 36 on my Tundra Crew Max, and 30 mils is not enough for 2 layers. There you go, CJ. Well, we will talk to him. See if we can get a bigger bottle. You never know.
I think there's
We're just
probably
looking
like a
over here
4th
like-
of July promo coming up. I don't know
Possibly.
what you
You
guys
never
have
know.
on there.
You
So
never know.
I genuinely don't know what's on there, but up to 20% off. It's
You can
almost
get 2 bottles and
you
you'd be
could
all
get
right.
get one kit so you've got the body prep because
Yeah.
body prep is the most important Diamond Protek product.
Yep.
And then 2 bottles. That second bottle, boom, boom.
Yeah, you'd be
it's
good.
Ta-da!
Long Island Detail Supply, Gary, saying we need to do a training soon.
Yeah.
There you go, Gary. We do.
Hey, I hit that comment. Why didn't it change? Okay, my comments are changing for some
Oh, no,
reason.
they're
That's
broken.
weird. All right.
Han says, would the battery pack on the IK also work on the Multi Pro 12? Yes, it does.
Yep.
Jeff C. saying, I applied Diamond wheels last winter on wheels that had been coated 3 years earlier with gloss coat. I did a full decon and clay, but only spot polished before coating. The coating properties looked great in the areas I polished, but not on the rest of the wheels. Could the remaining gloss coat have rejected the Diamond wheel coating? Yes.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Entirely possible. Han says, is Tony detailing his lawnmower? Yes, that is
Almost
one
definitely.
of the Hondas
One of
that
the
will
Hondas,
be
yeah.
in Honda days.
Some of the four-wheel Hondas are not cars. So
Is that Honda? He actually did a photo shoot with his Honda mower after he got it, and he took it out to that parking lot that he
Yeah.
takes pictures of his actual cars and parked it there. And I said,
Yeah.
how'd you get that there? And he goes, well, I put it in the back of the Ram 1500
Yeah.
tow vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? Towed one of his Hondas over
Yeah.
there, basically, set it up in the exact same. It was kind of crazy.
You know what I find?
He was very proud of it.
What I find so strange is Anthony, Honda guy through and through. That's what you think of when you think of Anthony. But he has 2 motorcycles, and not one of them is a Honda.
Well,
he
he
picks
used
bikes
to-
more like I would pick bikes, but they're not Honda.
He
so
used
it's
to
like,
have a Honda Grom.
he had a Honda Grom, but like all of his big bikes, all of his actual adult size
You'd
bikes
be thinking
have
he's
been
kind of
not Hondas.
He'd be a Goldwing kind of guy.
I could see him on one.
a silver wing,
Yes.
a gold wing. Definitely not a CBR or anything like that. No, he would
Goldwing kind of guy, blasting his speakers and at the light. You know,
maybe like a
Stop sign.
VFR or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something. Anyway,
Han's
just thought that
saying,
was strange.
what happened to the KK sanding discs? The little discs, the papers, we've never received them. We've never ordered them. So, Hans, that's something you got to talk to Patrick about. Because he's brought in the KXK. I think he brought the discs. I don't know. We never got pricing from them for that. So
And Hans almost
we haven't
definitely,
ordered
if
it.
he got him before, that's where he got
Yeah.
him from. Was you're not over here, so
Daniel Pate saying, so I came across the Uno Protect beadmaker video and decided to try it with Uno Advanced. Very good results if you tested this out or just know it would work similar. So I've worked all of them. I've used them all. I used Uno Protect and beadmaker for a number of years, and now I've moved to Advanced and Defender. That's what I'm doing now.
There are like slight differences between the way Protect and Advanced work, though. Like, could you speak to that a little bit?
They don't. They're identical. They let them wait for about 20 minutes, then remove them. There's literally
okay.
The
I
difference
know that there are
is
some subtle
the
differences.
difference is that Uno Protect is a paint sealant that will last about 6 months. Uno Advanced is a ceramic that will last up to 1 year.
Yeah, I'm referring in sense of wipe off and things like that. But
The wipe off's identical. The wipe off's the same. Feels identical. If I blindfolded you, Dane, and gave you the product, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
All right.
So Franco saying, could you put glass coating on your eyeglasses?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you can. You could also just put regular coating on your glasses.
That's
I've
true.
done that on every pair I've ever owned.
That'll be fine.
I know Matt did the same on his.
Don't leave a high spot.
Suddenly they're
Levi spot.
bifocals.
Whatever you do, don't do that.
Except
And don't
it's
put them
all
on
smudgy.
as soon as you put the coating on.
Just
like
fingerprints.
let them cure a bit, and maybe like put them on later. Grab another pair of glasses to put on.
Everywhere you look, it's just your fingerprint.
Your eyes are kind of like, woo. The suckers are off gassing. Still feeling it. Franco says, could there be a gold glass bottle bead in a bottle for a free tour of the plant, like in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory? Hopefully the tour would be safer than the chocolate. Yeah, no, I've been to the factory. It's very safe.
Yeah.
But a great idea. Great idea, Franco.
Nobody's
with
getting
marketing.
sucked into an induction tube or anything like that.
Ron Ayotte laughing.
And so man, that's us here. We got Tom.
Tom Chicago saying, hope you're doing well. Joey Belinsky.
Yeah.
And Jeff C saying, if a prosumer type DIYer wanted to buy the pro level coatings and paid for the training, could limited quantities be bought for personal use without having garage keepers insurance? Jeff, that is a great question. For the first year or so, we're not even entertaining it.
No.
Plain and simple. It's just there's too much at stake with the pro level coatings. We know that we have DIYers who feel like they're capable of doing the pro level coatings.
And they likely are.
And yes, likely you are capable of doing it. But for the fact that these pro levels are designed for pro installers with garage keepers insurance, with the fact that they've signed up for the class, the fact that they have a legitimate business that they're paying taxes and all that kind of stuff on, that's the reason for not having that access to the pro line. Now, who's not to say that might change with the development of other products? We don't know. But for the fact that the pro level program is brand new, it's not happening. So
You wanted to say something.
Yeah, there's some other things there, right? So if we go, the gauntlet, right? Everyone wants that 120. You've got 4 layers of product, and both Pro 60 and Pro 120 is finished with hydro, and hydro exclusively can be put on a vehicle that's been protected with Pro 60 and Pro 120. And in our training, we even talk about the areas that it can't be put on, even if it's protected with Pro 60 or Pro 120. So there is a lot of technology there that's probably not needed on a car.
Right, yeah.
And because of that, until we can safeguard against some of those things, we've got the educational course, we've got all of our disclaimers, for lack of better terms. Hey, don't do it here, don't do it there. Make sure it's on these types of vehicles. Make sure you coat within this specific window. There's just so many liabilities that we need to make sure we're working with someone that understands they're part of that team to make sure everyone gets the right service and we're not messing up any vehicles.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the number one thing, Jeff.
And I get a lot of people get concerned about that kind of thing, thinking, oh, I'm missing out. Oh, I can't get this stuff. I'm an individual, but I really want this, and I don't want to go to some other guy who's going to install it on my thing because I know how to do it. I get that, but at the same time, like, you guys have a very specific reason for why it's set up this way. It makes sense. And, yeah, there's some variables involved that aren't there with the regular stuff. So, just something to understand.
I go back to body. I love body. So I started as a mobile detailer in a 97 hatchback Integra. And I put my carpet extractor and my pancake compressor in my passenger seat just right, or I couldn't shift into third gear. I only found that out driving down Route 2 when I needed to be in third gear.
Just driving 9,000 RPM the whole way.
It's a little four-banger. It could do it. It's fine, right? I owned that car for just over a year and
get
never
crazy
changed
miles
the
on
oil
those.
filter, but I put a quart of oil in it once a month and I was
That's
fine.
Yeah, you're
It's
okay.
refreshes.
Good take, guys.
But because of that, like I look at body and it is just a moneymaker. Coatings are designed to be sacrificial layers. Why not have one that if the coating takes some abuse, you can replenish, you can replace it. Like that to me is my mindset. I know here I am, right? Like, oh, the director of sales for Diamond Protek, and 120 is amazing. I'm not trying to take away from 120, but the process that it is, it's not as cool as you think it is. Like, it's a process.
It is a process.
It is cool. It is as cool as you think it is.
No, the product
but
on
it
the
is
surface
a
is
lot
insane.
of work.
It is.
It is a lot of work.
I mean, you're talking
and
about like
it's-
3-4 layers.
Oh yeah, 3-4 layers, an hour between each layer, 2 hours between the last one, or if you even go sprayable, right? Like then people start saying, "Oh, I want to do the sprayable."
Yeah, there's so much
now
stuff
you
you
need
have to
IR
have.
lamps. We're still stuck with IR
You need an
lamps.
air
at that
dry. You need an
point.
air dryer in your air compressor.
Oh, my
you need to
goodness.
be able to not induce a lot of liquid and moisture into your
Yeah.
spraying. You need to have a respirator. You need to have an area in which you can do that. There's so many things involved going pro.
Maybe
that most people don't think about.
maybe this could be the next level of innovation our industry needs.
You never know. You never know.
Because you talked about
Kirby
hydro and
Thompson.
stuff like that, so I was just making sure.
Kirby Thompson saying, Levi, Matt, Diamond Protect wheels, could they be used over titanium? I have a cyclist with a titanium friend that wants to coat it to protect it and make it easy to clean. Comments. Yeah, it can go on titanium. Just know I would probably sell it that you're putting Diamond Protect wheels on and sell it as a 1 year to them. And just tell them, hey, this is a 1 year coating.
Yeah, over something like that, there's a chance it's going to need a reapplication, especially
Every year.
if it's heavily used out on the
Yeah,
track or
especially if
whatever.
they're riding it every day and they're riding rain or shine and they just want to keep it clean. It's going to help the titanium not stain and tarnish, but you are probably going to have to reapply it, Kirby.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to emphasize right now, and this is why I was saying this, was we're on the top half of the first page, so we can take our time with these. We can
Perfect.
give them the time of day.
10 minutes
I
left.
want to make sure, well, that's more like 20 minutes.
18
but
minutes
I want to
left.
make sure we give people the
So
time
I'm saying
of day
we're
on
at 10
these.
minutes in the comments with 20 minutes.
Yeah,
We're good.
yeah. We'll get through them. But I just want to make sure, like, if there's something that brings up an interesting topic, let's talk about it. Let's actually, because we got experts here, let's use it.
So Glenn Dennis saying, thoughts on peelable paint? I recently saw a video on Clarity Coat. Looks to be an interesting alternative to PPF or vinyl. So Glenn, yes, Clarity Coat is insane and is the next best thing. However, here's the problem with it. You need a paint booth. You need a dryer. You need a big enough air compressor. You need to have the skill set to be able to spray and paint.
Basically, you might as well be a painter at that point.
You might as well be a painter at that point. Matt and I both looked into that product, and we both fell in love with that product. It's an amazing product. The fact that you can tint it, the fact that you can do color change, the fact that you can lay it on clear, all that stuff. It's unbelievable. However, barrier of entry doesn't work for most folks.
Very high. Yep.
Yeah, no, if you're somebody who has a lot of disposable income and you want to take, like, maybe your vehicle that's maybe a special color, but you don't want to lose that by having the car repainted full on, this is kind of a niche case where maybe that's perfect for you because you want to have the fun of a different color and the PPF and all that. But at the same time, when it comes time to maybe sell it, if it's like a very valuable vehicle or something, because of the original color it is from the factory, you go right back to it and it's perfect underneath. You don't have to worry about it. You didn't fundamentally change it because you left the original paint where it was.
Well,
I can
and
see that being an
here's
appealing
the other-
case for
here's-
somebody who's loaded. Let's be honest. But
Gives you that
here's
new,
the other- but here's the
new
other
car
thing.
feel for people that change out new cars every
yeah, maybe
couple
they
of
get
years.
bored. Yeah,
But
it's
you
like instead
can-
of doing that, just
yeah.
change the color of your car.
The crazy thing about it, you can sand it, you can buff it,
Yeah.
and you can coat it. You can also put vinyl over the top of it.
It's technically
There's-
amazing. but,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable, and it's extremely strong, extremely durable, and it is a cool product. If you recall, 4 years ago, Ivan LaCroix had it on his Jeep, and he painted a black Jeep blue, bright metallic blue, put logos on it, put the logos under, then layered a layer of clear over the top of it so they were embedded under the surface, and
It looked legit.
phenomenal. When he traded the vehicle in, he did a video on him peeling it all off. But you walk up to it and you're like, Holy cow.
This
is amazing. This is amazing. Now, if you have the access to like the old shop had a paint booth in it. If you rent a building and you rent a shop and there's a paint booth in there, you're good to go. The question is, do you have the clientele to support a $5,000 to $10,000 color change?
Yeah.
And the fact that you have to break down the car because you're basically painting it again.
Yep.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. Clarity Coat has just started doing distribution as well for dipyourcar.com, and they are working on trying to make a collab between Dip Your Car and Clarity Coat to make it easier, cheaper, able to do it.
Yeah.
Because Matt and I were a Dip Your Car installer. We never did any cars, but we had the capacity to be able to do that because you don't need a paint booth. You don't need downdrafts. You don't need that stuff. You can shoot it in a normal garage if you want.
9 out of 10 high school kids have hit those wheels on their mom's Honda Accord in the high school parking lot.
But we're talking with the Dip Your Car sprayer, not the can.
Going full on, but it doesn't stop them from trying.
But I will say that is a future. Again, the difference is costs of the product on the surface, costs within the labor. It is a very high thing. If you are a car painter and you want to offer that to folks, you could do that. Because you've already got the infrastructure.
The booth.
And you've got people coming to you for paint work. You could do that and say, hey, here's what I got. Here's what we can do for you. And I can do it a little cheaper. I can do a little custom paint job cheaper. Because like we've got our friend Sean McNally.
Yeah.
He charges anywhere from $20,000 to $150,000 to $200,000 for a custom paint job.
Because it's worth it.
But people
for the
come to
who
him
do that because it is
for that because of who he is.
Level. Yeah.
But he could, if he's got people that are walking in the door and he's like, man, I sure got a lot of people coming in for $5,000 and $10,000 paint jobs, and I can't. That's not really where I want to go.
They don't want to go to Mako,
and they don't want to do
afford me,
maybe that's something I can do for them.
Yeah.
So there's that.
For me with Photoshop brain, the way I look at it is it's a way to paint a car with an undo button. it's basically you get all the benefits, but when you're done, even compared to wrap or something, which wrap if you leave it on too long can have some issues, whereas this looks excellent, and when it comes off, it actually comes off like fairly simply compared to even wraps and stuff. It's very appealing, but yeah, it's painting your car with an undo button.
Yep, super cool.
Yeah.
Franco saying, I just got a Vessi shoe ad. Gabe just felt a disturbance in the force. It's an ugly shoe. Glenn Dennis saying apparently little to no orange peel. So Glenn, it is again just how it flows out the gun. You can crank it up to add a lot of texture or no texture.
Maintain
you can sand
can sand
the
that
surface.
flat.
So
Yeah,
that's the crazy thing about it is you can sand it when it's done and get it as glass smooth as you want.
Orange peel also exists for a reason.
It does.
Too.
It does.
So,
but Glenn, it's it's still a pretty cool product nonetheless. Ivan Ramos saying, "What's this hype about mixing PNS Beadmaker and Dreammaker?" Ivan, it's called Clean Maker, courtesy of Jamie the Cleaner, and he loves it. I mixed up a bottle of it. Finally, it's pretty dang good.
You like it?
It works.
Yeah.
It's not. I use it to wipe down wheels. That's what I use it for. So
what's the ratio on that?
I don't know.
You just kind of eyeballed it.
I watched a video and I saw it and I did it. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Jamie the Cleaner, where are you? Help this man.
Yeah. Ivan said, would you be so kind to explain how to mix? Thanks. Just look up Clean Maker and Jamie the Cleaner and you'll find it. Darren saying, hey guys, had to miss tonight. We'll catch up later. Just thought I'd pop in, say love y'all. Also, question Levi asked last week. Yes, I do my shopping late at night. That's all right, man.
Yep, you're a night owl. I recognize it for sure.
He says, headphones in and no one around. Heaven for me on the food shop. I don't doubt it. Sounds like a great time. Kirby says, Levi, plastic lenses and eyeglasses do not like ceramic coating. I damaged mine by accidentally touching during a coating. Oops.
It differs from glasses to glasses.
I can see that.
Set,
yeah.
But
I've never had a problem.
The coating that's appropriate for the substrate.
These aren't coated right now, just so you know. These are
right.
I think I just have to fender on them.
The amount of smudges I see on Anthony's glasses on a regular basis,
filthy.
Like he looks like he just put them in Vaseline, just
they're
over the whole thing all the time.
But that's the joke I always try to say is he has the dirtiest glasses all the time.
Insane.
But on his windshield, he does not touch his wipers at all.
He is deathly afraid.
He doesn't
of using
like
his
having
wipers.
a dusty window and wiping it hitting it with the wipers. And he doesn't like using
He hates
windshield washer
fluid too,
because
yeah.
it goes all over his paint.
It makes things look uneven and creates,
So I
spots and
jokingly
stuff.
refer to the fact so you have dirty lenses on your face and then a dirty windshield, and you're okay with that.
Well, until he installs a reservoir
Where
on his
I
face.
keep my glasses spotless, and I like sister tank in my windshield washer fluid in my vehicles, add accessory tanks so that I have multiple ways to soak the window.
You're always ready.
Yeah.
You're always ready. Oh, man. Okay, we're getting some peace signs. We're getting some, ooh, that sucks. Then run.
Just heard from a friend. He's leasing a new Subaru Outback. It will be a 3-year lease, and the dealership is trying to sell him a coating for only $60 a month on the lease.
Nope.
$21.60.
Nope.
Yeah, you should coat that car for him for $2,000.
I was gonna say you could do it for $59 a month.
Yeah.
What are the odds that
There you go.
coating they're trying to sell him is even a coating to begin
Most
with?
of the time,
And
it's not
just
a coating.
detail
Some of the
spray.
No, some of the dealerships are. When I
or
got
ceramic spray or something.
like I got the car I just did this weekend.
Yeah.
When it first came to me, it got coated at the dealership at Mercedes. They coated it, and the paperwork on it was for Ceramic Pro. The problem was the guys installing it aren't actual installers. They're just the detailers in the back bay that don't really. They're good, but they're also kind of dangerous.
The same kid who runs around the lot with the,
No,
one-arm pressure
no,
washer,
not
or is it
always.
someone
No,
else?
it's someone else that's actually in the detail bay. The problem is those
Okay.
detailers, as hard as they work and as good a guys they are, they're not fully trained to spend the appropriate amount of time
Well, it's about
on a
turnaround
coating.
too.
Correct.
So
They're not given the time sometimes.
They're not given
That's
the
the
time.
big
it's not
thing,
the
right?
That's the
individual
biggest thing.
whose
even if
fault
they
it is
even if they
necessarily.
at home might know exactly how to do everything
Sure,
right.
sure.
They've got, in any coating, right? So you can't really have that
Yeah, and they might
sales
have
manager
two or-
bringing a
yeah,
car
they might
back
have two
to
or
you.
three on the car
Right. So then
just
you've got
to get it done.
the sales manager bring, hey, I've got this car going out for a test drive. Oh, I just got this car back from a test drive and I needed to give it another test drive in 10 minutes because it's our only Ford Raptor on the lot. So they're always getting interrupted back there. So it is it's tough. You almost need to have a dedicated,
They
mindset there.
They coated that car. They high spotted the snot out of it. So when I recoated it, I buffed it all out. I've also had folks buy a coating from a dealership, but it's just a warranty, and they just spray a quick detailer over the surface of the car. Again, not the dealership's fault. They're trying to sell you on something. They're trying to make as much money on that car as possible. So
Some
they're just
pretty
doing what they
insane
can.
stuff.
But yeah, pretty crazy though. $60 a month on the lease. Nice.
Takes advantage of the
Good.
knowledge gap
Yeah.
where really find a professional, do it separately. All right. We've got Bell Speed. Companies that use affiliate programs and creators, how important are they to the detailing world? Also, any advice for creators? So I imagine, Bell, you're an aspiring creator or a creator yourself?
Possibly. I would say, though, that, we wouldn't be where we are if we weren't doing what we're doing.
Right.
Originally we started making videos about towels and how to use products associated with those towels so that we could help customers know how to use our products.
It was customer service first and foremost. It wasn't to try and become popular. Or anything.
We've become influencers of other brands for folks like you who are watching our show to do that. There was an event that you guys went to in Chicago that was for a ton of different detailing, and like in what's the word?
That was super creator-centric.
creators.
And the focus was you have the brands, you have the creators. Obviously, creators are excited to go and make whatever media they can about the given products and stuff, but the brands being there, the benefit of that was that they could actually point out where like, oh, you made an assumption about this product that's not actually true. Here's how this actually works. And it was able to help like correct a little bit and make sure that what people are saying is actually true to the product and not just an assumption that's baked in necessarily from like somebody who's a third party.
It gave the creators a chance to be able to sit down with the company face to face and learn everything and ask the questions that they needed to
Nobody's
do.
policing an opinion, but it's just helping you with the actual facts, the data.
Yeah, and the reason we use creators and influencers and stuff is to get more voices and get more word of mouth on our products.
Yeah.
That's what these guys do. That's what we do. And the goal is to get folks to use the product, literally leave a review, in essence, and say, man, this stuff worked great. Or, hey, man, I put this product on. It didn't work. I washed it. Looks like it's dead. No, just wash it again. Oh, wow, holy crap, it worked. They don't usually have that capability, and it's up to us as brand affiliates and brand reps to say, you did that wrong, let me show you the right way, so that they put out the right message
and
on how the product works.
Bell's question here about advice for creators, I mean, that's kind of a broad question, but at the same time, if you're looking for advice, the best thing we can say is just keep at it. Obviously, you can do everything with a phone these days. We saw a bunch of people at the creator event doing a ton with just a cell phone and like a wireless mic setup that just went to the phone. And they were able to make TikToks, YouTube videos, you name it. And the quality, while it's not like the depth of field of a DSLR or whatever, viewers don't necessarily care. They just want the information, and they want to listen to somebody who at least comes across as like somebody they feel like they can trust, or they don't find annoying, because sometimes people are immediately turned off by certain personality types of stuff. Just find what's true to you.
Yeah.
So don't try and necessarily copy what others are doing if it means you're uncomfortable doing it. Find something that's comfortable for you, and it'll come across to the viewers who are watching.
There you
Okay.
go. Glenn Dennis says it seems pretty crazy that it's heavier than PPF and vinyl. Yeah, it's nuts. I actually got to key a fender that was covered in it, like really go to town on it, and then peel it off and have it be perfect underneath. Franco says, Ron, that's ludicrous. Tell him you'll do it for $1,900. Save some money. Give him a friend
What a
price.
steal.
Friend price. And then Franco says, I plastied my Honda Helix scooter every year, and it's due for a new color. Dane, you make the call this round. Name a color or pearl, and it shall be done.
Ooh, exciting. Well, I mean, let me think about that. We'll get to the other comments. I'll come back to you, Frank.
Ryan says, thanks again, guys. And then Han says, Franco, do one side yellow and one side red, just like Dane did on his brake calipers for his Jaguar.
The
We call
McDonald's
that
paint job.
ketchup and mustard.
Ketchup and
And then
mustard.
Ron says, I already talked to him about it. Good work. Franco saying, Han's laughing. Mike Kirby saying, almost time to mow the lawn. Thanks for all the tips today. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Kirby. Thanks for tuning in. Jeff saying, thanks for all the answers and the explanations on pro coatings. I'll be happy with Diamond Body or Diamond Body 36 for now. See what you might come up with in the future.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
I know, he's always watching. And Franco, I've got an idea for you. Something fun. So you're saying like a pearl. I would love to see like a pearlescent purple, like a royal purple, but done in kind of a pearl depth, kind of that sheen, something like that. So see what you can do about that. That'd be
Now
cool.
all I'm thinking about is that purple color change that was done on every car in the 90s.
Yeah,
That's
see,
all
I'm not talking about the chameleon
that's
color.
not what
I'm
you
saying
said, but that's
strictly
what went through
purple
my
here.
head.
That's what he had on his last Jag.
Yeah, no, my green.
Was
It
the
was the only way I
chameleon.
could get the green I wanted, and it just so happened that, it's a color
You go
change.
green,
it's not
gray, and
really my
purple.
choice, but I wasn't as wild, but I just wanted that green.
It
That's
was
what
a
I really
pretty
wanted.
wrap,
But
though.
it turned out super great.
Yeah, it
Like,
looked beautiful on that car.
Awesome. Hidden Forest Green by Avery Dennison, SW9.
And then
Very
G.
nice.
Davis popping in at the last minute from the back saying Dane endorses the 1-year Silver Creek Spa glute coating. There you
It's
go.
breathable. That's
Yeah,
the most
that's right.
important part.
That's right. That's what you tell yourself. Joey Belinsky saying thank you for all the information this week. Time for a nap. Catch y'all next week. Keep that arc reactor rolling, Joey. And Franco saying they're a purple hypershift. That'd be awesome. I'll email you
Hey.
pics. Great idea.
Do it,
There you
man.
go.
Love to see it. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Tyler and Matt, for joining us. Thank
Yes.
you guys.
Thanks
We
for having us.
appreciate it.
That's a great conversation.
They're both in the TRC discussion group, so just tag Matt Ward or Tyler Cucci, and they'll
Diamond
answer any of
Protek,
your questions
too.
for Diamond Protek.
Yeah.
So,
Nice. Okay, guys. Well, you know the drill. If you haven't hit like at this point, what are you doing? Come on, hit like on that video. Helps us out. Helps you out by helping us out. And make sure you're subscribed to the Rag Company podcast, the Rag Company Main, and the Rag Company FAQ YouTube channels. Helps us out there as well. And lastly, as you mentioned, the Facebook group. It's where all the conversations happen when we're not on the air here. You can share your latest updates. It could be fun stuff. Doesn't always have to be detailing related, as long as it's something to do with something TRC adjacent. We like it, and these guys are in there too. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for visiting. And we'll catch up with you next week on the Rag Company podcast, which will be happening on Monday because of a little shift in timing on things. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
see ya.